He likes you too, Craig.
I like this guy.
This is Cover Your Assets. Craig Nestor rocking out here.
It's all new music.
Todd Rooker.
Doesn't hurt.
And we've got
Relax.
Derek Walgrave. 855-835-8500. Cover Your Assets is financial tactics for the 21st century. And we throw this term about all the time. It's the new now. It doesn't mean that everything's been blown up and we're never going to get things back. Right, Craig?
Well, there's a reason why we're here. And we were talking about the opportunities it is to refinance your home and save some money, or the opportunities you have to move up in home now. And it's okay if you're not exactly right. We have to build sometimes a 3, 6, 9 month timetable to get somebody there, but that's what the object is. And again, there's a reason why we're here. In the late 1900s, the American government pushed home ownership to all new levels. And why America is in foreclosures, we had a bunch of exotic loan types where our DTI as a country went from 36% in 2000 to over 70% DTI.
Debt-to-income ratio,
Debt-to-income ratio, where we were really leveraging more home than our incomes allowed for with these exotic loan types, and it didn't work out. And so there's opportunities now in the marketplace to take advantage of these foreclosures, and that's why we have these low rates to attract more people to it.
Exactly, and that's something that, excuse me, that's something that we talk about again with our investors. That the rates are going to also drive your returns as well, and that's something that an investor comes in. Look, not all investors are cash buyers. You know, right. I mean, we like to think, oh, well, I can't be an investor because I don't have cash to buy a $150,000 townhome. But the reality is, most investors are financing,
yep.
And again, those rates, those fixed rates, are driving those returns. And we talk about these investments in rental properties. You know, what would you rather have? Would you rather have your money in some portfolio, you know, where you really have no idea what it's going to do? Or would you rather own your investment and run your investment? And you can actually see your returns and you have some control over it. And that's something that I think Americans, when they're investing their money, they want their control back. Look, when the days were great, we put our money out there, we made a lot of money. Those days are over. I want my money back and I want to control my money. And this is an opportunity to do that with the rates.
And I think you touched on something very good, Derek, in regards to people think that they can't be investors because they don't have $100,000 or $200,000 cash in their bank. And there's programs out there for investors specifically to get financing, whether it's, you know, however many properties they have or what they're trying to build their portfolio as. And there's opportunities out there for them.
So the interesting thing was we used to consider real estate and making money in real estate by radical, ongoing railroad appreciation. But now that has been replaced with cash flow.
Well, what's ironic is that
yes, ma'am. That would be true.
What is ironic is the number of investors who actually own properties whose values may actually be upside down, where the value of the home is less than the mortgage is. However, they're cash flowing them like crazy.
Exactly.
So, you know, I mean, you may have an investment property that has a loan of $150,000 and whose value is $120,000. Yet, because the rental market is so strong and will continue to be, we've got people who are making money hand over fist in monthly cash flow situations on investment properties. So, you know, it's just a different way to look at it, because at the end of the day, if I have that type of cash flow, I can pay the principal balance down. I can do a lot of other things. And, you know, I want to say that real estate is an investment that you get to put your hands around. It isn't to say that traditional investing isn't a good thing, and being diversified and having a good financial advisor who can work with you on other areas of your investment portfolio are important. The thing about real estate that's really interesting is that you really can exercise control. You can walk up to this piece of property, you can touch it, you can see it, and it's there. When you're an investor, even if you are a cash investor, you always want to involve yourself with somebody who's in the lending business. Someone like Heidi, because it allows you to take what you have in the form of cash and leverage it and buy more property. So even if you are a cash buyer, you could buy the thing 100% free and clear, or you could buy 5 properties with the same amount of money if you position yourself properly. But again, I want to say you don't walk in the door and say, I want to buy 5 properties in 30 days. You position your financial picture to look the way the lenders want it to look. develop that over a period of time, and then work with a broker like Heidi who's going to help you do that and become an investor and be seasoned in that activity.
Aha. Todd, you just hit on it. Cover your assets here. This is the CYA way. 855-835-8500 or coveryourassets21.com. You just hit on it. And Heidi, that's the key here. Everybody needs to sit down and really consider the entire big picture. And what we have here is a panel of experts on this show that will look at it from every different angle to consider those things so you don't get down the line and say, oops, I wish I would have thought of that. That's what you guys do, right?
Well, what Heidi brought up earlier was something that's worth touching on again, just to clarify. She had a client who wanted to put an excessive amount of money into the home that they were currently living in by building an additional room, expanding it and building it. And the neighborhood more than likely, and I didn't hear this from her, but the neighborhood more than likely would not have supported that value, and they would have been overbuilding for the other comparables that were in that area. So her idea was, look, you've got this property. We can rent this property out. We can make it work. And on the other side, we can buy a home whose value was much higher in the past, which means it took a much bigger beating, and you're going to get a heck of a deal. You can make money on the one that you're currently in, and then you can move up. So Heidi, just expand on that a little bit. And so it's a heck of a strategy.
It is. It really is. And a lot of people don't think that they have that opportunity, or they don't think outside of the box. And in today's world, we kind of have to. I mean, with underwriting guidelines and the way that the world works, like I said before, it's not a cookie cutter world anymore. Everything has to be structured according to the underwriting guidelines that change hourly.
And they are more stringent than they used to be.
Absolutely. And so
you actually have to have income, and you have to prove it to get a loan these days. Can you imagine?
I know.
It's crazy.
But
I just want to say it. I don't want to prove it.
Right. So everything does have to be paper trailed, but you have to. With the team of experts that we have around us, we have the ideas, the strategies, and the know-how as far as what to do, where to go. And sometimes life gets overwhelming a little bit with everybody. And so with that being said, they may not have the ideas when you're talking about what the next step could possibly be. And that's what we're here to do, is help them strategize on what we can do to help them or put them in a better situation or let their family
It's
move
like all things. When I talk with people that are going through a foreclosure or they're in some type of hard time, they don't spend 10 hours a day, muscling up against banks trying to get loan and modifications and trying to get short sales. So they don't know what to do, and they go to the internet. It's the same thing with people that are current on all their payments, but they're upside down. They don't spend 10 hours a day trying to navigate underwriting guidelines and preparing that next buyer, or it is the move up. It is the move-up buyer who's got cash on the sidelines but doesn't know there's a fourplex, down in Apple Valley that's about to hit the market like Derek does. So it requires the individual expertise that this table brings, but it also requires that they collaborate together over the same people. And what happens out there is these niche players get so concerned about their commission, they don't bring other people in and do what's best for the family. And we provide that service at no cost to a family that you can access us either through the show or during the week. What's the number, Kelly?
855-835-8500. 855-835-8500.
Go ahead.
Well, the Financial Crisis Bible sometimes gives people a good idea of where we're at. I mean, if you would just take a second, go out to the website and download the Financial Crisis Bible, it is something that we could sell as an ebook, but we have to give this knowledge out there. Get a good core understanding of what's real.
And when you talk to somebody having done that, they are now going to have a vastly better understanding of the things that you talk about. On this show, when you're an industry person, you tend to talk in acronyms and givens. Well, of course, everybody at the table knows this. Well, I know that the folks who are out listening to this probably don't understand a lot of these things. And they tend to think of their situation as being very compartmentalized, simple, straightforward. They all think that. And that's why people will often come to me and they'll say, look, I don't need to pay a consult or to see you. I just have two quick questions. And I say, you have no idea the complexity of your situation, which is why I have people fill out 14-page discovery documents before I even talk to them, because they'll say, well, I know I need to short sale my home. Really? Why is that? They may not be right about that. And you could offer a situation like Heidi's just described where they don't need to do that. Or maybe there's an opportunity to refinance their home and be able to keep that home, lower the interest rate, or maybe turn the current home into an investment property and then move on and make money in that process and build net worth. There's a ton of things that are out there. Well, I have to sell my house because I have so much debt. Well, look, selling your house isn't going to fix the debt because you've got a second second mortgage. And when you do walk away, you're still going to have the second mortgage following you. And the difference between your first mortgage and the rent is not all that dissimilar. If you add the second mortgage onto the rent when you've walked away, you've accomplished absolutely nothing. And oh, by the way, you still got $50,000 worth of credit card debt.
Well, and your rental monthly payment is, without the tax deduction, is actually the same.
Yeah. So whether whether you're 50 feet or 100 feet underwater, if you're still in a position where you cannot make your payments, you have not solved anything. You have to look at everything that's on the table to make these decisions. And always you're looking at what's coming at you in the future, which is, I want to be a homeowner again. How do I minimize the damage, get back on my feet, and then rebuild my life in the future? All of it has to be looked at and taken into account, and it almost never is.
And that's the biggest thing too is, there's a lot of people out there that are just overwhelmed. And
Right.
the team that we have here, we can help you. Whether it's, handing you off to Derek or handing you off to Todd or handing you off to Craig or looking at the situation that you have in your own current scenario, let us help you. And that's the biggest thing that people need to reach out.
That's a great point, because look, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to help you. And we want you to come to us before you've made some decision to meet with a brokerage to short sale your house, when you could have refinanced it.
Right.
It had no effect on your credit and bought up in this market. I mean, that's the point. I mean, you come to us, we're going to help you. We're going to help you with not only options, but possibilities.
Correct.
Each family must step up on its own, but I will tell you this, one family with courage is a majority, and it's more than enough.
Absolutely. Heidi, how do people get in touch with you? Obviously, they can always call the show or go to our website, but what is your contact info?
You can reach me directly at 612-294-2334.
One more time.
Again, that's 612-294-2334.
Outstanding. See, and that's just what we do here at Cover Your Assets. You've heard the expression, you can't see the forest for the trees. You're your own tree. And this is a group of people that's going to look at it from a completely different angle.
Call me Oak.
Birch. And they'll help you look it over. And you're not supposed to be an expert in this. That's why you want to trust Cover Your Assets. We'll be back.